Hi everyone, welcome back to another one with me, Miss Whitney B. Let me make sure it's turned up. There we go. So I'm following a breadcrumb. This is a breadcrumb I actually received back in June. Spirit had brought me a download about, I was trying to share with someone, convey what channeling looked like. And I was doing research to try to understand how to express it, right? In the sense of like what it actually looks like in physical form. And so I came across this article back then. It's called What Rama and Sita Can Teach You About Everyday Life by David Frawley, and it's in the Daily O newsletter. I posted it on Facebook, so if you guys want to go check it out. But so what's interesting is that when I had my Kundalini awakening with my twin back in 2018, December 2018, Radha, the Ascended Master Radha, she is the twin flame to Krishna. She came to me and she told me that she was going to be working with me on the next journey that I was going on this next phase of my journey. And she took me through this amazingly beautiful healing ceremony where she showed me visions of what I was going to be working on, what it looked like, what basically that stage of coming together, because I had just physically met my twin in 2018, and we were beginning our journey of coming together. And she told me that it was going to be a long, arduous journey, basically. Not in the sense of like long, arduous, but that it was challenging, and that I was going to need to get anchored and grounded and centered and really open my mind to learn so that I could go through this process. And along the way, she has come with me to help me understand levels. Every time I come up to either a roadblock or even just an unfolding of the journey and expansion, she comes through and shares with me. She took me on a journey back in January of 2019 where she took me to the past and showed me the lifetimes and what I was learning and different ways I was going to be working with Divine Feminine. She brought in a bunch of different Divine Feminine Ascended Masters to do work with. Shakti came through, and then Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Calf Woman, Mary Magdalene came through, and then there was a couple of Egyptian goddesses that came through as well, but for whatever reasons, I want to say like Isis and Sekhmet? Is that right? I'm not sure. I'm bad with the names sometimes, guys. But anyways, they came through and they all were teaching me about different aspects of the journey and how to awaken within my own self, my natural Divine Feminine, and to go into flow, because I needed to come into balance with my own self so that I could create balance in the union. On the twin flame journey, Divine Feminine is most often, now not always, but most often Divine Feminine is the leader. And in my union, I am the leader. And so as I take the steps to clear the path towards union, my partner is a step behind me doing that same work the whole way. And at the time I did not know that, but now I know that very clearly. I received downloads about that last year, and then also this year I had another healing ceremony with Radha and Krishna, her twin. They came forward and took my twin and I through, I'm going to call it a cord cutting ceremony. We had all of these metal chains that had like manacles on my wrists, and then on our ankles, and then I also had all of these bracelets which represented vows and contracts that had been made. And my twin also had those things. And we went through this ceremony where they helped me to burn remove. She literally gave me a key to unlock the chains. This is back in, I want to say, May 2020. To unlock the chains and to burn them and dissolve them into the sacred fire. And so through this process, I undid the chains and threw them into the sacred fire. There was like all these different colors of flames. And all of the beautiful thing is that all of the different ascended masters who have accomplished the twin flame journey came and lined up all around us, giving my twin and I the support we needed to go through the process and to really know how loved and supported and honored we are, and how there have been so many who've come before us on this same journey of union. And I took off the bracelets, I undid the chains and the binds, and threw all of the bracelets, the ankles, everything. And there was many. There was like, I had a wrist full of bracelets on both sides, and then up my ankles as well. And then there was even jewelry attached at the waist. And I had to remove all of that. And then it was my twin's turn, but he would not remove them. He refused. We had been attached for so many lifetimes, for so long, that he was afraid of being alone. He'd never truly been alone. And when I removed those cords, I was detaching from him in that physical sense. And in the vows and the contracts, I was breaking them and putting them into the sacred fire to remove them so that we were completely free. But he was afraid to do that, and so he refused to remove the binds, and he told me that the only way that would happen was if I did it, because he would never choose to be separate from me. Never. He would never choose that. And so it was really painful, because his pain, his anguish, his fear, his worry, I could feel all of that inside myself, and I was crying, and I told him how much I loved him and that I would never stop loving him no matter what. Whether we came into physical union in this lifetime or not, it did not matter. We're never separate, and that I would never leave him, and that I will always love him, but that I wanted him to choose me freely from his own free will. And that means that I had to cut all the cords, and so did he, so that we could be free. And he still was very upset and not willing. And so Krishna came forward and Radha came forward, and they both gave us, showed us their journey and what that looked like, and then showed us the path towards union, and that we needed to be free from each other to do that. And that meant that we were in physical separation at that point as well. We went into physical separation at the beginning of, or right around beginning winter, spring, or not spring, excuse me, beginning winter of, yeah, maybe it was spring, sorry, maybe it was like, I don't know, the separation started occurring in January, and I think we went into full separation by March, and it was such a trip, because even though we were physically separated, we had all of those cords still binding us. And they were showing us that we had to be unbound to go forward, that we had to choose from authentic free will. Otherwise, it looks like the devil energy. And that devil, and not literally meaning the devil, but I'm referring to tarot and the devil, in that it's bondage. It is low vibrational attachment to one another, and that we needed to completely remove our attachments to be able to go forward and to actually have full union. And so that's what made me be willing to cut the cords, because I didn't want to cut them either, but I knew that if we were going to come into full union, because of what I had been shown, that it had to happen. And I believe in Source. Spirit has never, ever, ever guided me wrong. Have I misinterpreted channel before? Yes, definitely. But has Spirit ever led me wrong? No. And so I knew that that's what had to be done. And so I then turned to him, and he finally agreed, after having received the downloads from the masters, to do it. But he still refused to be the one to do it himself. He told me, and he looked me right in my face and told me that if I wanted the chains removed, then I had to be the one to do it. And so I did. I removed all of his chains, and we're both crying through the whole process. This is in physical this is in I was physically awake in 3D, but experiencing the vision in 5D, guided by these ascended masters. And once I removed all of the chains, I then had to remove all of his bracelets and all of his contracts as well, to fully set us free. And then we did this moment of embrace. He was very upset, very, very upset. And I was very upset because his pain was so immense. I didn't know. I felt horrible for it, but at the same time, I knew with all that I was, that if I didn't do that, then we would not have union. And I wasn't willing to wait longer. I was not willing. I have known my entire life that this was coming, and I wasn't going to let that moment pass me up. I've been working hard, and there was no way I was going to stand in the way of my own success or his. And there was a lot of attachment up into that point. But once I did that, Spirit then came forward and brought me the next set, which is Sita and Rama, the story of Ramanya. No, I'm sorry. I think I said that wrong. It is the story of Ramayana, a lesson for us in abiding by the higher truth. And so what I just learned today through a download, a channeled message shared through Twin, what is her name? I think it's Twin. Here, I'm going to look up the video really quick. I'll link it in the bio to this video. Twin Flame Union. And she was talking about how Sita and Rama are the next incarnation of Radha and Krishna. And so after that happened, Sita came to me and told me that this is channel. And so I'm going to read to you guys really quick this story. And I can see if I can link it below. It says, Lord Rama is much more than a historical person. He represents an interconnection of all humanity to the universal self. Sita Devi is not only a human woman, but a profound cosmic aspiration. Without understanding such deeper associations, we will misunderstand the magnificent story of the Ramayana. Human life, though karmically bound to physical reality, is a part of an infinite consciousness through all of nature. Developing that unbounded awareness and its complementary compassion is the real teaching behind such sacred depictions as Rama and Sita. Sita and Rama are the dual cosmic powers, so they are the two sides of one coin, the divine masculine and the divine feminine version. Trying to understand Rama and Sita in human terms reflects a limited perception and bondage to Maya. This does not mean that Rama and Sita had no human existence, but as the manifestation of transcendent reality. Rama, as an avatar, represents our highest spiritual potential. And Rama and Sita are not merely two separate beings. Sita is Rama's feminine reflection. Rama is Sita's power of action. They are two halves of one whole through interdependence. They are both whole in and of themselves, but by uniting, bringing into physical union the two halves of the self, they make the wholeness, the whole awareness. Their physical manifestation reflects a deeper unity between the two. They are like the sun and the moon, fire and water, earth and sky, consciousness and bliss. Their energies are all pervasive within and without a universal metaphor. Yet, Rama and Sita do have a historical aspect in the ancient solar dynasty of kings and sages. Rama and Sita are part of the history and culture of India and Asia, now extending to the entire world. The real question behind the Ramayana is not whether monkeys could speak or if Rama and Sita are politically correct by today's opinion, but how we can live a higher truth. Valmiki in the Ramayana is asking us to awaken poetic and yogic insight, much like the Vedic rishis, but through a portrayal that appeals to the young and old alike. Finding Sita. The Ramayana revolves around Sita. Who is Sita? Sita is born of a furrow in the ground. She is one of the Ayoni Jas, or those not born of the womb. She is discovered by King Janaka during his yearly ceremonial plowing of the fields. Yet King Janaka is not a mere ordinary king either. He was born the greatest philosopher king of ancient India, equal to the rishis. The Upanishads contain his profound dialogues with the sage Yajnavalkya. Sorry guys, my pronunciation, I'm doing my best here. As Janaka's daughter, Sita's character embodies an exalted philosophical and creative refinement. Sita is related to Sarasvati as the supreme muse of artistic inspiration, to Lakshmi as the capacity to nourish all creatures through the earth, and to Parvati as the yogini who can renounce and transcend all limitation. So she's the physical embodiment of all of those things together. The Atma Shakti, or power of consciousness that Sita holds, arises from the receptive and silent mind, which is far beyond any outer powers born of self-assertion or material becoming. And so the receptive and silent mind is how we channel. That is how I channel. That is how Spirit brought me that breadcrumb of understanding to be able to express what I'm experiencing as channel. My mind is not in control. My logical mind, my physical mind is not in action. It's quiet. It's silent. I am just literally receiving and then expressing back out what I'm receiving. The loss of regaining of Sita is our loss and finding the knowledge of our true nature. Lakshman is the discriminating power of the buddhi that protects this inner receptivity. Rama is the true self within us that must awaken to reclaim it. Hanuman is the son of Vayu, the cosmic energy that works through the air element. He is our inner prana, devoted to divine couple, the Sita and Rama within us. Ravana represents the separative self and its illusion powers through the ego mind, obsessed with external power and control. So that's the part of yourself that's your ego, that's driven by instinct and by desire. Those are low vibrational things. When you're not fully activated, humans typically live, if they're not activated and awakened, live in those 3 lower chakras. And so that is that lower separative self, that self that sees separation in most things, or I wouldn't say all things, but I would say most things. A new version of Adohaya. To honor Rama, we must strive to live a life of Dharma and Sadhana. We must ripen to the space of cosmic consciousness beyond our biased human intellect and its conceited opinions. And so this is about surrendering to the divine and basically moving beyond judgment, the need to judge or to have an opinion, to basically live in the silent mind, experiencing beauty and just being in acceptance of what is. We must overcome our own... Oh, sorry. I think I jumped. To do this, we must become Sita and make our lives into vision and a sacrifice. We must sharpen our intellect as Lakshman to discern the internal from the transient. So knowing what is within and then what is without. We must awaken our inner Hanuman and direct our prana to attempt the highest and leap beyond our limitations. We must overcome our own ravana and intractable ignorance and ego urges within us. It is time that we return to the ayodhya, which is to move from an outer fixation to an inner view of life as spiritual offering. And so that's the transition from viewing things outside of you and to coming within yourself, recognizing that everything begins and ends within you, that you hold all the answers, that nothing outside of you is the answer or holds the answer. Everything is within you. Adahaya is a divine city of profound wisdom, deep devotion, and unity consciousness. Again, so that's activating through the crown chakra, the Merkaba, and then going higher up into the, what is that? The 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th chakra, all the way up through there. Unity consciousness is, I think it's the 8th chakra. I'm not sure, guys. Sorry. The 7th chakra is the crown, which is what awakens you to the cosmic connection. So I'm pretty sure that then the next one is unity consciousness. Profound wisdom, deep devotion, and unity consciousness. Ayodhya is, as the city of Dharma, is an ideal within the hearts of all that welcome every creature and every form of sincere aspiration. And so Lord Rama, as the avatar of Dharma, exemplifies that our true duty is to serve all life, not merely to fulfill our personal desires. And so that is the service of self for to the whole universe as the self. First serving yourself, filling your cup whole, and then serving back out to the universe from that whole cup, your authentic light. We have much to learn from this wonderful story, but must approach it with humility and discernment for its transformational secrets to unfold. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Okay, so hashtag Ram Navami, hashtag Lord Ram. And again, that was the Daily O article by David Frawley, Frawley, and it was created 4/4/2017. And so that was just a little mini insert of information that had been passed on. I will for sure though link Twin Flame Union channel in the box below. She's on YouTube as well, and she's very inspirational, or actually inspirational, yes, but she brings a lot of sign symbols, confirmation, and synchronicity to me on this journey. Today when I listened to her talk about all of the different gods and goddesses that I have been working with for the past 2 years, it kind of like blew my mind, and I was like, whoa, how we come full circle, and how I've already experienced, I'd already read this article back in June, but had forgotten about it. I had not forgotten about the silent mind aspect, but I had forgotten about the deeper knowledge within. And so now that I've come full circle again, I'm sitting here reading it going, wow, the sign symbols and synchronicities are absolutely amazing. Thank you, universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, blessed be. I hope you guys enjoy this little tidbit, this breadcrumb. If you're looking for more Twin Flame journey information, there are some really great other Twin Flames on YouTube that I love to watch. Twin Flame Revolution, I love those too. I think they're really great. I also love Lee and Sherry. There are a couple that resonate really deeply with me. And there's a few more. I will link some in the description box below once I get this going. But thank you for joining me. I hope you're well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if it's your jam. And I'll talk to you on another one.